Welcome to another great edition here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. It's a lot to discuss here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. If you are new to the channel, like I always do, welcome to the channel. It's your best football tactical analysis channel, and we give you the best in football analysis here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. There's a lot to unpack for you today. There's a lot to delve into. There's a lot to discuss. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. This is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. If you've not subscribed to the channel, like we always do, we entreat you to subscribe to the channel and then turn on your notification. We want to know that you've turned on your notification. Of course, we want to hear from you in the comment section as well. So do well to send in your comments. Do you agree with the things we're saying? What are your different opinions? We want to hear from them. If you have a diverse opinion, we want to hear from you. If you have something else that you want to say, we want to hear from you. It's a community where we listen to everybody's opinions and then we'll discuss. I'll do my best, to reply those messages so that we'll talk about a lot of stuff. But today, there's new stuff. Sam Allardyce have granted an interview that he's going to be the next Chelsea manager. He pointed out certain things in there, like Chelsea's defense that is going to change, and it looks as if that's the breaking news. Sam Allardyce, next Chelsea manager. And then, of course, Mauricio Pochettino, the issues with him. Tonight, Chelsea has a game against Leeds United. We'll preview all of that conversation. We'll talk about the Leeds United game. We'll talk about why it's going to be a little bit difficult for Chelsea to play against Leeds United. The fact that Chelsea's recovery may not be apt because they played in extra time over the weekend in the Carabao Cup final, and then they have to come and play Leeds United, which is going to be a very, very difficult game for Chelsea Football Club. So, guys, let us get straight into it. So, the first one, Sam Allardyce, yesterday in a very funny interview, when he was on punditry duties in Dubai, he was asked about Chelsea and then what he made of the team and everything. And he says that he has taken the Chelsea job and he's going to fly to England from Dubai to take up the job. And the first thing he's going to change is Chelsea's defense. He thinks that they are the worst defense in the league. I disagree, but I just like the humor part of the whole conversation where he tries to make fun of everything that's going on for Chelsea. And then the fact that he believes that he can turn things around. And I think that in the context of everything, it puts into perspective the desperate nature of the game and how things are going on in football right now. How all of a sudden people would want to jump on stuff like that, like Sam Allardyce becoming the next Chelsea manager and whatnot, which obviously is not going to happen. Mauricio Pochettino yesterday met with the press in his pre-match Chelsea versus Leeds United preview. In that pre-match press conference, a lot of things were said. Key amongst them is the fact that Nkunku is injured. He didn't train the next day because, of course, he had played the long haul of the game. They didn't want to burden him with a lot of training sessions and all of that. He went away, and then he came back the next day. He had to go through a medical assessment. The team realized that he was injured. You see, I've seen this thing with a lot of football fans. When their teams buy players, they make it look as if, and the players getting injured, they make it look as if these players intentionally want to get injured. Trust me, these guys want to play football. They don't want to get injured. It happens, and we can only be supportive and human and humane towards them and try to help them in their recovery process, which is difficult. That in itself is very, very difficult. If you've ever kicked the ball before, it's a tough job to do if you are a player and you keep on getting injured. Even the mental side, the psychological side is very, very difficult. In a pre-match press conference again, and this is what I don't like about Mauricio Pochettino. This is the issue with Mauricio Pochettino. This is the biggest problem with Mauricio Pochettino. It is not the tactical feelings that sometimes comes. It is not the issue with sometimes the excessive training regimes of his teams that we've seen at Tottenham Hotspur, at Southampton, and at PSG. I don't even think that in itself is the reason why Chelsea players are getting injured. Sometimes there are a lot of things in the game that you just cannot control. And people falling injured, there are a few things that you can control. Like this season, Bayern have changed their pitch from the hybrid pitch that they installed last season to a natural grass because they feel that the hybrid pitch was the cause or the underlying factor for the frequent muscle injuries that they were having, which is excellent. That's not the case at Chelsea. For Nkunku, for one, Nkunku finished playing the Carabao Cup, went home, returned to training the next day, and then he was injured. I mean, how do you blame the medical team? How do you blame the technical stuff? How do you blame people elsewhere for stuff like this? It's tough, right? And already the club is going through a very, very tough time. In our pre-match press conference, Mauricio Pochettino again. See, the media, and I mean, when I talk about media, me inclusive, our job is so volatile, so important, and so important that people should be careful the things that they report. Can you imagine that Mauricio Pochettino spent 10 minutes answering questions about something that he was misquoted about? I remember after the game against Liverpool, he was asked if he told the team to play for penalties, and he said that the team felt that the penalty was the best option, and he was misquoted when people began to say that Pochettino set up his team to play for penalties, which was largely wrong, a wrong misquote of the Argentine manager, right? And you look at stuff like this and you ask yourself, why does somebody do things like this? Why do people do this? And because it's for clickbait, right? So all of these things happened. And yesterday, in 10 minutes, he had to debunk that. He had to explain that. After that, he had to talk about some things also that are going on in the media, that Chelsea were looking to sack him. And then the benchmark was Euro qualification. And then he said, hey, nobody told me the benchmark is Euro qualification. The benchmark is not Euro qualification. I met with Todd Baghdad. I shook hands with Todd earlier on. Maybe the camera did not pick it. I shook later with Baghdad. Then later I met Baghdad later somewhere in London away from Wembley. And then we spoke about the club. We both understood and agreed that we have missed out on a huge opportunity to have won our first trophy. But it is also these defeats that makes the players learn. And in the context of Chelsea, and I said it yesterday, that this is why if you're a Chelsea fan, you should be excited. In this project, any character of a coach that was extreme at this length and at this point wouldn't have succeeded. So borderline calm won't succeed. Borderline volatile, like Mourinho, but emotional, will not succeed. You need the most calmest in times when they have to be calm, and you need the most aggressive in times when they have to be aggressive. And that is Mauricio Pochettino. That is why, for me, I think that Pochettino hasn't put so much of effort wrong. He hasn't done so many things wrong. It is just that the environment in which he is so demanding, and he has to deliver. And for me, it goes back to the very thing that I dislike about Mauricio Pochettino, and the thing that I think is his problem. Mauricio Pochettino's biggest problem is that he wants everybody to see the things that he's seeing now. It's not possible. And yesterday I told you about the bottle job issue where Neville described the Chelsea team as a bottle job. Yes, it was a bottle job. Yes, it was a bottle job because you go through everything that they spoke about, everything that they said, everything that they had spoken. Obviously, it's a bottle job because when you get into that close to winning a trophy and somebody brings some 16-year-olds and it's in the context of how much he spent, obviously people are going to see that as a bottle job. Now, the biggest problem with Mauricio Pochettino is that he wakes up, goes into press conferences, and wants everybody to see things the way he sees things. And I'll get to it very soon. So, this is what Mauricio Pochettino says. He says, no one says anything negative about Liverpool or City. It's like, if you win, you win. If you lose, you lose. It's okay. Nothing happens. But in Chelsea, it is completely different because of the pressure that 1 billion spent in the squad. For me, it's unfair. But in saying that, I accept their opinions. And I think that is spot on from Mauricio Pochettino. But that's my problem with him. You can't worry about what other people are thinking about the team. So far as you spend the 1 billion, everybody's going to talk about the 1 billion. And it is time for his team to set up and then find solutions to the myriad problems that they have, from injuries to the player inconsistency and whatnot. It is time to get our job done now. I don't think that it is smart to sack Mauricio Pochettino mid-season. It is going to be the worst managerial decision ever to have happened in a game of football. It is only going to be right if they review his position at the end of the season and then come up with cogent reasons why they may want him in or out. That is very imperative in the context of everything that Chelsea want to build in there. And Pochettino need to stop worrying about people. See, it is high time he came to pre-match press conferences and told pressmen to stop asking you about some of these things because they do not matter. What matters is on the field of play. So let's talk about things on the field of play. Every other thing is up to you. You can go on, brew the lies, the misshoots, and whatnot. You will not necessarily care. Then you focus on getting the job done because that is what has to be done. The job has to be done. That stands now. He's falling short at getting the job done. Today there's a big game against Leeds United in the Carabao Cup, and Chelsea for one know that they need to respond. And see, whilst it was important, it was something else for them to lose the Carabao Cup and to win. And if they had won, that would have given them a lot of confidence. Responding today in the FA Cup fourth round will be huge for Chelsea against Leeds United, because you know what? It shows that the boys are not faker. It shows the mental fortitude and the strength if they're able to win today. Because they go into a game, 120 minutes extra time, they lost in the most cruel fashion at the death, and then they come back and then win against a tough Leeds United side. That's going to show proper mental to the team. And that is why today's win in the Carabao Cup is so important to Chelsea, so important to Mauricio Pochettino, and important to the players in terms of confidence and the psychological edge that they can get in games. They ought to build from there, get it in, get the results, go in and get a job done. And I know that they will prepare towards that. Mauricio Pochettino is going to prepare towards that. One of the things that's going to make that game against Leeds United very difficult is Leeds are a very, very direct team. So if you've watched Leeds in recent times, they also set up in a 4-2-3-1 in there. They are very, very stubborn to play against. And then, of course, obviously, Chelsea in the last few games have been sitting in a 4-2-3-1 again in there for Chelsea. And then, like that. Now, one of the things that you see with Leeds teams is that they are very direct and they are going to run a lot consistently. And that's where the question mark for Chelsea is going to come from. Are they going to have the energy levels? Are they going to have the legs to chase Leeds all across the field of play? I expect that this is a game where Chelsea's average position is going to drop very, very low. And they're going to play very compact and look to catch Leeds on the break. Leeds are most likely going to have loads on the ball because they will have a lot of time on the ball. They will run the channels a lot of the times with Chelsea's fullbacks, worrying them and overloading wide areas. Now, in these areas, that's exactly what Chelsea needs to get the best out of this game, because Leeds have fullbacks that press aggressively, and the timing of the press may be a big deal. So, like we did against Robertson and Trent Alexander-Robertson, when he steps into press, it is time for Chelsea to play through the attack, and in this case, it is Nicolas Jackson in there. They are coming in to come and press, but immediately they step in for the press, it's time to play in the attacker and then exploit the spaces that they leave in behind. That's how Chelsea can hurt Leeds United in the game today. Apart from that, it's going to be very, very difficult. I foresee the game traveling again, and then hopefully Chelsea getting the results that they are supposed to get in there. But it's going to be a really, 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 really difficult game for Chelsea against Leeds United. There's also Nottingham Forest versus Manchester United in a game that's going to go on tonight. It's also a very, very tough game, especially for Manchester United, going away to go and play at Nottingham Forest. And you know that there's already pressure mounted on everything. That is real pressure, actually, in my opinion. Nottingham are without Ola Aina, they are without Chris Wood and Bolly. Manchester United are still without Mason Mount, Martial, and then Casemiro. And then, of course, we're expecting United to set up in a 4-2-3-1 with McTominay and then Kobe Mainoo sitting, and then Garnacho, Bruno Fernandes, Diallo, and then up top, Rashford in there. It's going to be a very, very difficult game that Man United are going to play today. Inter are going to play against Atalanta in the Italian Serie A. There's Napoli are going to play against Sassuolo, and Chelsea also go on to play against Leeds United. I think that today, the Liverpool-Southampton game is really going to be exciting because I love this Southampton side. I've seen them several times. I've seen this Southampton side play some good stuff and then they take the pace of the game. Before Kamaldeen Sulemana return, and then it's about how they can get the best out of this game against a tired Liverpool side. And same for Leeds against Chelsea as well. We're expecting that Liverpool are going to start with a host of those that ended that game: to Tsimikas, Gomez, Kwanzaa, Bradley, Clark, Nyoni, McConnell, Gordon, Dance, and then Kumas. And then for Southampton, they'll come with a stronger squad. Chelsea, however, against Leeds United at the bridge. Chukwemeka is still out for Fana. Marco Correa still injured. We expect that Joe Gilchrist will get a part to play in this game. Desasi, Cowell, Chiwo, Caicedo, Fernandez, Madueke, Gallagher, Modric, and then Jackson. Whilst Leeds United are very, very stubborn side, especially for Somerville and then James. James is a very, very stubborn player with a lot of pace in between the lines, a lot of pace. Chelsea push up, it's going to help the Chelsea backline with Desasi in there, and then to save also Somerville on the other side. Of course, it's a good game. It's a game that Chelsea can negotiate something from. Wait to see how that goes. So that's a preview of all the FA Cup games, a preview of everything that's going on. Some Alladyce, Chelsea, Manchester United, Nana Schwartz, and then finally Chelsea versus Leeds United in the evening. My name still remains Fiifi-Manfred. This is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube.